Hello, everyone, and welcome wherever you are joining us from in the world. We're so happy to have you here at USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. I'm the president, founder, and chief listening officer here at our network, where we celebrate elevated listening. And our show today is Secrets to Timeless Beauty. Our topic is Life on the Road and How You Can Adapt with Katrina Valente. So I'm going to welcome Katrina, and just before I do, ask you if you have ever spent any part of your life on the road, whether it was for your work or you just decided you wanted to go ahead and travel and see the world. And how did you feel during those times? I know for me, when I was in corporate, I traveled quite a lot and I was by myself. I also, after I got divorced, I went over to Paris for 10 days by myself. And it's really interesting. It's a wonderful time to grow and to learn. And of course, there's also that feeling of being uncomfortable because you are alone and you don't know anyone. And how are you going to deal with the feelings that come up when you go into a restaurant, for example, and you are sitting there by yourself with your iPad reading at the table, which is what I used to always do. But we're going to hear from someone who spends quite a lot of time on the road in different countries and how she has adapted to it, how she feels about it, what she's learned from it. So let's welcome internationally renowned facialist. She's also a coach. She's someone who can really help you in so many ways with clearings, with readings. And she normally is in Dubai, but I believe she's in the Maldives right now. Let's welcome Katrina Valente. Hello.
Hi, from
It's
the
hard
Maldives.
the Maldives. Okay, it's hard to keep up with you. Tell us a little bit about why you chose a career where you travel quite extensively, and then we'll get into your career.
Well, it was kind of a side effect, really. Um, I've always loved to travel, and I started working with Six Senses resorts and spas about 15 years ago as a visiting practitioner. And then, you get all these job offers, so you don't want to say no because you're going to all these amazing places. And it's just so happened that this year I've had a very, very busy year. I've literally been in and out of Dubai the whole year. It's been a bit overwhelming, to be honest.
You know, you said something that I think is really important because I experienced this as well. You get to stay in resorts and in places that people only dream of being able to go. And I know with me, sometimes I had a huge suite with a beautiful wraparound balcony, and I look at it, I'm like, wow, this is great. I wish I had someone to share it with. But it's much better than being in some small cubicle or some place that's not inspiring. So you are typically in environments that you can really get in touch with yourself. You can do some self-care work. What are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's true. You have a lot of alone time for sure. And you can recuperate, come back to yourself, do some online work, watch a lot of Netflix, read a book, lie by the beach. But, there's only so much of that you can do, Dr. Jacalyn, before it starts to get a little bit wearing, I have to say.
Yeah, that was my experience as well. And tell people now about the work that you do that causes you to travel on a regular basis.
So I have been a holistic esthetician for 28 years, and that falls under the category of mainly doing anti-aging and facials, but I've also done a lot of different healing modalities. I do massage, I do lymphatic drainage, I work with the raindrop therapy, I do chakra healing, I do tarot reading. So, it all comes under that one heading of holistic therapy. But more recently, I've been doing a lot more coaching and healing work, which I'm slowly moving into. And so when you go to these places, you go to the spa and you go in as a visiting expert and you offer, your menu of services over and above what the spa offers.
So people can have opportunities that they wouldn't get somewhere else from someone who's an expert in this field.
Yes, correct.
So let's talk a little bit about how you prepare mentally when you're going on a trip. There's the whole aspect of you're leaving your home, you're leaving your comfort zone, and then I imagine the excitement that you're going to be fully booked, you're going to be meeting new people, you're going to be at a beautiful island or resort. What are some of the things that you do to mentally prepare for your trip?
Well, I have to take an awful lot of products with me. So that is a major task because I have products for facials, I have products for massage, I have products for healing, I have books to take, I have tarot cards to take, I have to think about my uniforms, what clothes I'll need, my gym clothes. So it's quite daunting. It never really gets any easier. And I never really make lists. I've been doing it for so many years. I just know, what I need to take, and I mentally go through it in my mind. And then you have to think about what bills you have to pay, who's going to come in and take care of my plants while I'm away. There's a whole lot of things that you have to figure out before you get on that flight.
And I really appreciate the fact that you mentioned you've been doing this for a long time. So it's sort of second nature. But for people who are possibly entering a new career, they're going to be starting work where they're traveling on a regular basis. There is a lot of planning that goes into it. I know for myself, when I was in corporate and I was traveling, that one thing that I learned the hard way, because one of my executives at the time mentioned it to me when she was meeting me at the airport, is you have to learn how to pack, because you can't show up with 15 bags. You have to be able to move quickly and adapt. So I know for me, a lot of what was in my suitcase were workout clothes, because that's a pure obsession of mine. How do you decide what to cut back on? Because you love to work out as well. Plus you need your uniforms and all of the tools that you need. So what do you say to yourself when you're making decisions? If you're only going to take, let's say, 2 bags, how do you decide what's going to go in and what can stay?
Well, it's very easy because I'm in my room most of the time. I go to cocktail parties, so I need probably 5 outfit changes, because remember that if I'm here for a month, the people are rotating. They'll stay for maybe 2 weeks, so I can wear the same thing twice, although usually I never do. I bring 3 uniforms, I bring 3 sets of workout clothes, sometimes 4, depending.
You're
1 pair
good.
of trainers, yeah,
That's really
and just a
good.
bikini. I bring maybe 2 bikinis, a beach outfit, and socks, underwear. That's about it, really. I don't need a lot of clothes when I'm here. Thank God.
I would bring 7 or 10 workout outfits, no bikinis. So it is interesting. But I learned how to roll my clothes up, and that would take up a lot less space. So let's talk about the fact that everything we're sharing, it sounds upbeat and it's positive, but there is that loneliness aspect. There is that part of being away from everyone, and yet you still are expected to work, to be on call if somebody books a session. Do you stay connected to your network while you're away, or do you find you kind of just go within?
I do stay a little bit connected, but not as much. I mean, that is definitely the downside. You can't get into a relationship. You lose touch with your friends. When you get home, they forget about you, and you've got to start the reconnection process again. And, you're on a desert island, so you are a bit trapped. You have to, it's a certain routine that you go through for a month, and it is very isolating, it's very limiting. And I'm just about done with it, I think, to be honest.
This, if anyone who works
Yeah.
there is listening, please don't say anything. No, I'm kidding. So, Katrina, what about the fact that we hear so much of people who want to get away from it all? They want to go to an island, they want to be away from the phone and all the amenities, and they just want to meditate and do yoga. Any thoughts about that? Or have you done that already?
Yeah, I mean, that's great. I think I've just overdone it. You know, it's a great place to be and come back to yourself and have some quality, silent times, quiet times, relaxing times, definitely. But it's just I've done it too much this year. Too much downtime.
And I think that brings up a really good point, which is at some point in our lives, we may feel that we've done something to the fullest capacity that we can do it, and it's time to make a change. So, when you think about making a change, will life on the road be part of it, or have you decided you're going to stay pretty much in one location? You mentioned Dubai, for example.
Yeah, I think for the foreseeable future, I've got no booking. I've got one booking next year in October. So I want to try and settle down in Dubai, do, just get my grounding, get my feet on the ground again, build up community, build up a tribe, build up a routine in my life again, you know?
Yeah, it's really kind of interesting because where you are and where I am, I'm in I'm settled in one place for most of the year, and I'm behind a green screen by myself with actually no interaction with anyone except that my friends came down to see me. So it is kind of interesting, and I think it's but for me it's still exciting because I just started doing it. So I think it's a matter of getting your passion, finding out what it is that really motivates you, that you just want to get out of bed and you wish there were more hours in the day because there's so many more things that you're excited about doing. And when we think about that in perspective, how does that play a role in timeless beauty?
How does that play a role in timeless beauty? Well, I think it's all about balance, isn't it? And happiness. It's all about living your joy and doing what you love to do. And when something starts to become a chore or you're not enjoying it anymore, it's time for a change. And we're really on a path now where we have to do what we love because that is how you're going to grow and evolve and shine.
And we've talked about this before. The same thing is true in a relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship, a business relationship, a personal relationship. All of a sudden, you start to feel different. And it's like, oh, it's her again. It's him again. It's this situation again. And these things keep coming up for us. And these feelings of frustration or anger start to play a role because we don't actually want to take any action. Like what you're talking about, you're going to be taking action to do something, which in and of itself is liberating and exciting. But when we think about old habits, old relationships, things that pull us down, I feel, and I'd love your opinion as an expert, I feel that this actually affects the way we feel and look and our longevity.
Oh, 100%. 100%. You know, you have to live your life being your true authentic self. And if that means getting rid of people from your life that are no longer serving you, no longer making you happy, no longer have the same values as you, then that's perfectly fine. Nothing is forever. But a lot of people will just go along for the sake of it, or not to rock the boat, or to make other people happy. But no, we've really come into a year where really you've got to clean up your act 100%.
I appreciate what you just shared. I want to give an alternative approach and perspective and see what your thoughts are about this. I know my first job in corporate, I really thought I was going to stay there forever because that was the mindset of the generation that I'm in, that you work your career in one place at one company till the end of time. And at some point I decided to move on, but I really struggled with that because I felt like I was being disloyal. And then also, when you take your vows to get married, for example, you commit to be with the person for everything, no matter what happens, what gets thrown at you, you're going to stay together. And I think there are people out there who do struggle with these types of things, that they've made a commitment to do something. And even though physically, mentally, emotionally, it's not serving them, they still stay. So in your experience, how does that impact somebody's their skin, their health, their perspective about life?
Well, it impacts it fully, because if you're not happy on the inside, it shows on the outside. So, you know, we are all images of what's actually going on within us. And so you can look at someone and know what kind of life they have. You can look at someone and tell if they're happy or sad, or they're angry, or, you know, at peace. It's very obvious.
All right, what do you see in me?
Oh, you're a driven woman. I mean, you're very content with your life. You're a go-getter.
Very true. You hit the nail on the head. I am definitely very driven, and I'm very happy with most of my situation. But anyway, that's another show. So let's talk a little bit when we think about life on the road. Let's, instead of it being on the road, we have this whole opportunity ahead of us for 2023. And I think sometimes to people, it's like a fantasy. It's like, oh, I have a whole new year ahead of me, and all these magical, wonderful things are going to happen. But we actually have a role in that. I know some people think there's like a magic wand that you wave and everything's going to change, but we have to make choices that are conducive to good health or good mental stability. And I know that you help people as a health coach in a number of ways in making choices that are good for them. Can you tell us more about that?
Look, you've got to follow what you love. You can't follow the money. The money is going to evade you. You you have to do what you love to do. So if you don't know what that is, you have to figure it out. And then, you know, it's like you have to think about what you want, action it, and then grace will follow. And that's the way manifestation works. But you have to get crystal clear in your head about what it is that inspires you in life. And, you know, forget about the New Year's resolutions, because they're not sustainable. They put you under pressure. You know, you're fighting to do something you really don't want to do. It's a waste of time. You're better to just start off with good intentions and make a list of the things that you want to achieve in that year.
I agree with you. And I also would like to add that I think we have to know and understand what our why is. Why are we doing it? Are we doing it because we're supposed to
Yes.
do it, or society or our partner told us to do it? Because those types of things typically don't last. Or is the why just because the calendar changed to a new number that now we're supposed to change totally? And also, as you know, change takes time, and it takes commitment and dedication. And we have to have a plan that when we do fail, when the resolutions aren't working and we've given up or we're giving in, how are we going to get back on track? Because do we still have the same commitment to our why?
Yeah, exactly. And I think you've got to trust and have faith. I mean, I'm going back to Dubai, and I need to figure out how I'm going to make my money, because I've been making my money in traveling. And that's daunting, but I'm just having faith and trusting that divine timing is playing out here, and there'll be opportunities that will come along for me, because that is my intention. And I think you've got to have a very strong intention. You've got to really decide and get rid of everything that is not working for you, and then it gives you much more laser vision.
That's very true. That's a good point. And I think what you're also describing, this may be a new concept for some of our viewers or listeners, is that migration from a 3D egocentric world to a 5D heart centric world. And I'd love to have us just have a little bit of a chat on this, because I really feel that as a result of the pandemic and the isolation that people felt, and the fear and the overwhelm, and many people lost family members and businesses, etc., that people started evaluating the choices they were making as well as their relationship with money, and realizing that it didn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you got the virus, you were getting the virus. If all the things that happened to people, you couldn't throw money at it and make it go away. And I also think that as a result, some people started to reach out to people like yourself and people like me who are more heart centric, and saying, you know what, I want to make a conscious decision to lead my life with my heart as opposed to my ego, my wallet, or my bank account.
No, totally. I mean, I'm completely the conspiracy theorist on the COVID situation. I mean, that gave everybody a long, hard look at their lives, and it's made change for the better, I think, in the long term. Um, People have really had to look at what's working for them and what's not working for them, especially in their relationships. And people that lost their jobs, it's because something better's coming along. I mean, you always lose for the best possible outcome. It always happens that way. Always has to be replaced with something better. That's just the law of the universe, even though you might not think so at the time. But we have to stop chasing the money. We'll have to stop doing these mundane jobs that we don't enjoy anymore. And we have to live in love. We have to love our neighbor. We have to love ourselves. And we have to, as you said, be much more heart-centered. That is evolution, and that is the way the world is heading.
Yes, absolutely. And you and I've just mentioned money, and it's a constant, I don't want to say battle or struggle because that's negative, but money comes and money goes. And when we start focusing on the money, like for me, for example, I have all these plans of what I'm doing with this platform. And when I look at the cost of the things that I want to do, I say to myself, well, where's that money coming from? And I put it out there and somehow the money comes. But there's that time when it's kind of like, oh, I'm so afraid, did I make the wrong decision? But if you truly believe and you put positive energy out there, and you do the things that you need to do, again, it's not waving a wand. You have to put the work in. And sometimes the work is just that mindset, that true intention, that drive, that commitment, and knowing that if something pops up, if some challenge comes up, that you're not just going to fall and fade. Somebody was talking to me recently about starting their own business, and the person has a lot of other things that they're doing. And I said, you have to live in that business. That business, you have to live and breathe it every day, because you are the brand, you are the business. So I think one of the secrets to timeless beauty is being in your lane, finding your passion, and being committed to it.
Totally, 1,000%. You can't go in it half-heartedly. And that's why it's very important at this point in time to get crystal clear on your way forward, and to really get rid of people from your life that are not supporting you, that don't have your best intentions, that pretend to be your friend, the frenemies.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to recognize who these people are, because unfortunately, most people don't want to see you succeed. That is the hard truth.
That is very true. And I've shared this with you before as well as on the air, but I have two newsletters. And the first one for USA Global TV, I had some people I was very close to who unsubscribed from my newsletter. And I remember I saw the unsubscribe and I had like a pain in my chest. I was so hurt that they would do that. And I had to actually take a step back and say, you know what? They weren't your friend anyway. Because if they were your friend, I get a ton of newsletters from people that I know. I don't unsubscribe because I think that's kind of disrespectful. I don't have to read every single word, but yet I took it to heart. And then I thought the universe is basically telling you that you have moved on. They've moved on. You're not on the same page. And so my philosophy now is, after going through that, is that people do come in and out of our lives for a reason. And if it doesn't serve us, if people don't believe in us, we don't believe in them, it's time to cut cords and move on.
Yeah, nothing is forever. It really isn't. And I mean, I wanted to catch you going back a little bit when you were talking about people taking marriage vows and stuff. Like, who told us we have to be together forever? Who gave us that rule? It was the government. We've been indoctrinated since the day we were born, through the schooling systems, through the governments telling us what to do. We were born sovereign. We can do whatever we like in our life. We've just been so ingrained, so programmed to think a certain way. And it's like, marriage shouldn't last forever unless you grow and evolve together. And that is very rare.
Yeah, I think that's the key, that growing and evolving together, having the same interests and the same beliefs, and being able to compromise. And I'm just going to be honest, I'm divorced. I wasn't too good at the compromising part because I wasn't with the right person. So I wasn't going to stay there anymore. And when we stay in something that doesn't work for us, everybody knows. People know. You could just see a couple, they're totally on a different page. They don't respect each other anymore. They're arguing, they're not listening, or maybe they consistently are not together, whatever the case is. And it's just about believing in yourself. Do you want to be living a life because an entity told you that's what you have to do? Is it possible that that relationship served you and served the other person, and now you're actually doing them a favor? You're giving them a gift by moving on so that they can find someone who really does care about them or who is on the same page as them.
Yeah, exactly. But you see, the average person is afraid to step out on their own, is afraid to leave that so-called security of their marriage. I mean, that is an illusion in itself. The only person that you can depend on in life is you. There's no one else. Marriage is, women will talk about security. There's no such a thing. And I think COVID taught us that, you know?
I think you're right. I think the other thing is that when you've been in a long-term relationship, and it doesn't have to be a marriage, right? It doesn't have to be a traditional relationship. And one person in that relationship is responsible or has been responsible for bringing in the income. The other person might want to leave. They might want to do something else, but they don't have the skill set in their mind. They think, what am I going to do now? I haven't been in the workforce for a long time, or I've never been in the workforce. And that in and of itself might keep them where they are.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's fear. Fear is the biggest thing that will control not just an individual, but a nation. Keep someone in fear and you've got them exactly where you want them.
And I think that has a big tie or connection to mainstream media, because you don't have to, you could look at one mainstream media outlet and it's just negative, negative, negative. By the time you get through, I don't watch the news, but I'll read it on my phone. I'm just like, oh, please, I've got to move on from this. I can't take it. Not that whatever is happening that is negative isn't important, because we still need to understand what's going on, but it's the way that the information is delivered. And I think that also affects our health. I think when you are not only in a relationship that doesn't work for you, but when you're constantly surrounding yourself with negative information, negative news, doom and gloom people who are always, that's not going to work out, this is never going to work, then that affects your health and your perspective on life, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And I think that's why you should practice positive mindset, you should practice meditation, you should practice listening to binaural beat music, you should surround yourself with positive people, stop watching the news. I've never watched the news ever, I don't think, ever since I was a kid. Why? It's just all doom and gloom. Whatever you need to know will get to you. You don't have to sit and watch that barrel of, propaganda. It's all just, what's the word? It's programming again. They tell you what they want you to know.
That's true.
So I just don't watch it.
And you're better off for not watching it. We do have a comment from one of our top fans in Uganda. Thank you so much for being with us, Enoch. Thanks for the show. We appreciate you. So, Katrina, when you think about this new chapter of your life, I mean, it's very exciting when you think about, okay, I did what I've done for all these years, and now I'm reinventing myself. What are some of the areas that you think you may focus on? You're thinking that you may do something similar, but in Dubai?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna. I still do work in Dubai, but I just need to hone in on it. And I've got some workshops that I'm putting together. The Goddess Within, and they're going to be tagged, sort of taken from the 9-video introduction to holistic wellness and anti-aging that I've got on my website. So I'm going to make workshops out of them and just, start my connections again and pray to God that all falls into place.
So what are your expectations in terms of timing? Because that's another thing that sets us up to win or fail. If you say to yourself, okay, I have to have X number of clients within a month, or I need this amount of money within a week, then you might be setting yourself up to fail. So do you have some realistic plan of what you're looking to do?
No, I've always never set goals in my life. I have an idea in my head, and then I just trust, and I'm always provided for, always.
It's a good place to be. And Enoch wants to know if he can come and work for you.
Well, he has to tell me what he does.
And also, you're reestablishing or establishing yourself in a different way fully in Dubai. So there's probably some time frame that you need to get ramped up as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm expecting it to happen relatively quickly. I mean, I think by March, March is always a good month in Dubai. Everybody gets over Christmas and the New Year. February, you've got Valentine's Day, and then March, April are usually very good months there.
In your experience, what is life like in Dubai? Because I know we've talked off camera about it's different there than it is in other places in the world. What's your experience been like?
Well, I've lived there for 24 years. It's just like any big city now, but it's very clean, it's very safe. Women are very safe there. It's glitzy, it's glamorous, everything's very clean. There's amazing hotels, amazing restaurants, amazing beaches, beautiful people. What can I tell you?
Where are most of the people from?
Very multinational, from all over the world. It's very much an expat place. There's lots of other GCC Arabs, there's lots of Europeans, there's lots of British, Australians, South African, Nigerians are coming in now for work. And of course, Filipinos and Indians who both make up the service industry.
And Katrina, here in the United States, there's been an expression, I don't know if they still say it anymore, but America is the land of opportunity. Do you see Dubai as an area of opportunity?
Definitely now. Yes, definitely. I mean, the war in Russia has brought lots of Russians to Dubai, buying homes and everything. Chinese also.
Well, I would encourage Enoch to contact you. He can email you, he can follow you on Instagram, he can go to your website. So, when we go to your website, what are some of the services that we're going to see offered there as I pull up your website?
So, you will see the facial still being offered, my lymphatic drainage, my coaching and healing work, and the tarot reading, and of course, the raindrop massage.
Okay, let's take a look. I'm going to share my screen. I always think it's better when people can see something because then they can actually relate to it. Okay, so I'm over here on the website. So there's information about you and that gorgeous picture of you. I love it. Really very attractive website. You help people in many ways with their skin. And I think that's something that people take for granted as well, because everything we do, whether it's the sun, hydration, food, stress, has an impact on our skin, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. I mean, your skin tells you a lot about how healthy a person is.
Yeah.
So, you really are what you eat. I mean, the skin is the biggest living organ in the body, so you can tell an awful lot from the condition of someone's skin.
And Katrina, you started off with sugaring, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little about that.
So, sugaring is the traditional Arabic method of hair removal where they make the sugar paste out of just that sugar. They boil it and make it like a caramel, and then you take a dollop of it, put it on the skin, press it in, and flick it off, and it brings the hair out.
So it's an alternative to waxing.
Mm.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And I want to go up to the top of the page because you have a free online course that all people have to do is click here and take it. What can they expect when they enroll in the course?
So it's 8 videos about color therapy, essential oils, crystals, superfoods, skincare products, vitamin supplements, and each video is between 15 to 25 minutes long, and it's just giving you some information about what it means to be well in life and beautiful.
Now you have on the website that it's for women. Is it just for women?
Is it just for women? No, men can have a look too, but it's predominantly focused for women. But it definitely relates to men as well, for sure.
Because I just know from our men's show, Wild at Heart, with Roland Friedel and his panel of men, that men actually are concerned about their skin too. Some men don't use any products, other men have a whole litany of products. And as we get older, for some reason, it seems like men's skin doesn't show as much sign of aging as women's skin does.
It does. It's just that men age more charismatically than women, and men have thicker skin than women.
And we've discussed this before. I have girlfriends who shave their face because they believe when you're moving your face that you're helping to promote the muscles to continue moving. So you're not going to get wrinkles in those areas. Anything you want to say about that?
No, you have to do shaving their face stops them getting wrinkles. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
because
No, that's a total fallacy. You have to do face yoga, and that does work. I mean, exercise the body, exercise the face. It's the same thing.
You want to give us an example? I'll put you on spotlight. Show us some yoga.
Well, what's a simple one? Let me remember. Is this one?
Yeah, I like that one too. And it works your neck.
And then it works the neck. Yeah.
It works your neck. Now, what about anything in terms of alleviating new wrinkles with drinking more water? Will that help at all?
Not really. You've got to work on it topically. If you've got I mean, if your skin, it's very important to be fully hydrated. Most of us are not. But when you drink enough water, you can really see it in the skin. And for women, it's very important to eat fat, good fats like avocado, olive oil, coconut oil. The body needs good fats. It's very good for the skin.
We just had on the show before us with Ricky McKenna, celebrity chef and certified nutritionist. We were talking about, when you mentioned fats, that many times, me included, we feel this incredible sense of guilt when we eat something that is fatty or that's sugary or that we actually really enjoy eating, because we're not supposed to enjoy it, right? We're supposed to be a machine and we give the machine what it needs, but we shouldn't be giving it things that we enjoy. How do you feel about that?
No, I disagree with that. I think life is for living. I think everything in moderation. And I strongly believe it's your emotional connection to that food as to how your body is going to process it.
So, in other words, if we eat it and we say to ourselves, yes, I'm so grateful for this, I'm really enjoying this,
Yeah.
or, oh, I know I shouldn't be eating this, as we still eat it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well,
you have to make a decision and just say, I'm going to enjoy this. I don't have it every day. I want to eat it. And it's like we put ourselves under so much pressure all the time.
constantly beating ourselves up over things.
Mm.
And then we have to turn to professionals. So let's start changing our perspective. Katrina, I really appreciate you joining us today, especially when you're in a beautiful place where you could be out sunbathing. But you are 10 hours ahead of us, right?
No, it's 8. It's 20 to 9 at night.
Okay. Well, I'm going to spotlight you again. And for people who are thinking to themselves, I'm going to take action, I'm going to contact Katrina. I want to find out how she can work with me, how she can help me. I see the courses that she's offering. What's the best way for people to reach you?
So they can go through my website. It's just my name, katrinavalente.com. I'm on Instagram. You can DM me, Katrina Valente, and the number 1. And yeah, Facebook also.
All right. Thank you so much. I guess we'll see you in another couple of weeks.
You will. You'll see me when I'm back in Dubai.
Fantastic. Well, I can't wait to hear about the new happenings and where you are in your journey. So safe travels to you. And I hope you enjoy the next 2 weeks while you're there.
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. Lovely to talk to you as always.
Thank you.
Take
Wonderful
care.
to see you, my friend. Bye. And I say this all the time. I'm leaving up Katrina. We have Christina coming up. Katrina's banner. Please do reach out to our team members and to our guests. That's why they're here. They want to hear from you. And if you don't contact them, you could be missing an incredible opportunity. So there's her information. There's her website. Go to her Instagram, send her an email, and reach out. All right, our next show is coming up. It is the United Kingdom news and culture, and we will be joined by our expert correspondents from the UK, as well as Diane Floyd-Bay, my co-host. So please do stay tuned wherever you are. Thank you again for being here. If you'd like to be a guest on any of our shows, just go to our website, usaglobaltv.com, and book your session, and we'd be happy to hear from you and help support your mission and your story. Goodbye for now.